Look out over the downtown, which it's in a period of transition. That was one of the big things, that we sold to the JRS folks when we were pitching why this project made sense. It's a $10 million project in the downtown that is experiencing some rebirth, primarily driven by the $350 million hospital site where you see the cranes that are operating over there in the northwest there. There's an aerial that was flown probably a couple of weeks ago which shows that site a little bit better. But it's a $350 million medical complex encompassing about 50 acres of property. There's no one else in the country that's developing hospitals in an urban area. So we're pretty proud of our achievement, one, of getting it built downtown. The city acquired the 50 acres. It was residential property, cleared the area, and then sold the property back to the hospital.
So, Tom, this is going to be a whitewater kayak in Canoe Park, right?
Right. There's currently... It really is.
It really is.
We worked with the Army Corps in the Conservancy District, and there was a group of folks who were out of Colorado. It came back with this idea of making this into a whitewater feature. Whitewater in the sense that they've actually brought in stone and rock, they've removed some low-head dams, and they're making man-made drops. So it's almost like a skateboarding park, but in the water. And so there'll be, Brewster's certainly familiar with it, he's done this before in other areas. Go ahead. It's Buck Creek is the name of it, which is not a very pretty name, but it is what it is. This is fed, we're run by several different streams and an offshoot of Mad River as well, but primarily fed from a reservoir that we have, Clarence J. Brown Reservoir. It's also a state park. They've worked with ODNR as well as the Army Corps on timed releases too. I found out too. We are doing that where they release a certain amount of water from the reservoir at certain times. Apparently you promote that, you get people to come from all over just during those periods of white water or more intense kind of water flow. But the idea is there'll be two. You really can't see it here. It comes around the river bend. There's the Museum of Art down here below, a public park called Veterans Amphitheater. It's where we have our summer arts festivals and things like that. It's a really gorgeous area with limestone cliffs and things like that. So it's really a nice area. When the hospital built here, they really wanted a place where they could, most hospitals are going out on interstates and they want a 100-acre campus where it's more of a suburban type feel. So they kind of wanted to be if they were going to be downtown, they wanted to be looking onto something that had some kind of healing or green environment. So that's kind of what pushed them to this site. To the north here is Wittenberg University, just off the map. To accomplish this 49-acre contiguous site, we had to do some road realignment. So what you see here being constructed right now is the realignment of Plum Street over to Yellow Springs, and then North Street, which is US 40 and State Route 4, will be dropping south down to here and paralleling Columbia Street and then coming back up to Yellow Springs. So in essence, you achieve a 49 contiguous acre site.
How many parcels did the city have to buy to enable this development?
There was probably 250 to 300 parcels in there. And homes, there were probably 200 some homes. Where we had to use federal relocation as well, if anybody's ever been involved with that, where you have to have 3 appraisals, a review appraisal. You have to find 3 properties for the tenants. Even if there's tenants, not even the landowners or the homeowners, you have to show them 3 places and they get to pick which one they want, and then they get also relocation assistance to help pay for the move, as well as some additional dollars to renovate whatever they're moving to.
I'll brag about the city. The city did a heck of a job with that. Not one case went to trial. And only about one case went to the point where it was even, a suit was filed and it was negotiated. They were all done, everybody signed off, everybody walked away with a smile on his face, which is unheard of.
It's unheard of. And the reason people don't develop in urban areas because most often you can't assemble that amount of property, not any kind of time frame that suits development standard anyway. So,
Tom, that is amazing because in Toledo they did that with the Chrysler plant. They only had 80 homes that they had to deal with, and they had a nightmare trying to get through there. So that's kudos.
I mean, it's the eminent domain. It scares everybody because there's an unknown. When you have to take the property through an eminent domain case, you don't know how quickly you'll make it through. It's really dependent on the judges too that are involved, which we can't control that. So the eminent domain cases we had were just to clear title and issues where we had willing sellers, but we just needed to clear titles and things like that. So we were very lucky, I think, in that respect. Here's where you see the hospital, just to orient us to. Number 5 is the Bushnell Building here. It's kind of an L-shaped building in front on Fountain Avenue. I think you guys all parked on Fountain. And then you walked over here on Main Street. So it's an L-shaped building. Next to this is Jim's garage that he owns, a 4-story, 5-story garage, about 360 spaces. So a big component of the JRS is we needed to identify additional parking, which we've done here with number 8, and we're trying to secure funding for a 4-story parking garage, which is really right here as you look out the window. It would really span from the street, from North Street, all the way up here to the drive-through of the National City Building. The garage would have a walkway that would connect to this National City Building here on the left. It's about a $14.6 million parking garage, though, is the estimate on that, and we've done all the feasibility studies and the traffic counts and parking counts and all that. We think we can make some cuts in some of it, because there's a tremendous amount of retail space built into the first floor that might bring that down to about 10 to 11. It's still very expensive. We're trying to find a way to fund that. This green thing here is actually an urban park. It was funded through state capital dollars from 2006 probably, 2007. The land has been purchased. The plans are done. They hope to begin construction January of 2010, and that's really right across the street. You see the red Bronco over there, the red Ford. And it, in essence, will take half of that lot. The building that you see over here on the left will be taken down. There will be 2 outlots created there, so for 2 office buildings to be on that park. It's very similar to the park that you see in downtown Columbus because it's designed by the same people. Go figure. MSI architects designed everything with the Arena District as well as, I forget what that park is called in Columbus, where the pillars are, and it's a green wedge-shaped park. North Bank Park? Same thing. It's North Bank Park. Is that it? But in essence, it's the same thing. You start with kind of a wedge concept here, and it's going to stretch all the way to Buck Creek. Primarily the reason we picked that area was it was flat surface. It's areas where we've torn down buildings in the past throughout the 40s and 50s, and so it made it an easy place. Yes, it takes up parking, but it also creates an amenity that people want to locate around. So it's kind of an economic development tool, more than an amenity-based park where people are going to come to the park. It's more of really activating the space around it. So it was a big component. It's funded, it's going, moving forward. There'll be a new street created here. It's not named yet, Park Avenue, whatever you want to call it. But here are those 2 out parcels I just described to you. This is the future phase, phase 3 of the park, which you see just north there. You can see the large 5-story building there is called the Metallic Casket Building, with a smaller building next to it is a powerhouse that fueled that facility. That's being under review right now to put an ice rink in that facility, believe it or not. It's been done in a couple of areas, I think, not Nashville, where was it? At any rate,
Durham.
what we're going to do is to Durham, North Carolina, where they renovated an old facility. The ice rink fits, just fits. There's a couple of feet on either end, but then they would put the skate rentals and the lockers and all of the other things in that smaller power unit there. The 3rd, 4th, and 5th floors would be renovated for commercial office space. So right now it's going through some feasibility studies to figure out if that works. We have $5.5 million for the ice rink, so the money has already been raised, it's ready to build. We're trying to take our time to place it in an area that has the most benefit really for the other projects we're working on.
What's the expected timeline for completion of the project?
For which project? This one?
For the entire project, the one that feeds out into number 3. The park.
Really, it's an unknown. We know this is going to be done this year. I would think probably within the next 5 years that vision would be able to be accomplished.